Okay, so welcome to today, and today we're going to do an experiment, which is we're going to stay in poses for 7 minutes. And actually, as I was explaining in the email, this is really great because we're getting into the joints, we're getting into the connective tissue, which is all that area that we need to work on. And really, the longer we can stay there, the more we get into the connective tissue, and we're really helping to lubricate and nourish the joints. And also, you'll actually perhaps even feel the effect of that holding of the pose, and it feels great. Actually, it feels like sometimes when you go for a massage, and when they're doing it, it feels quite rough, and then afterwards you just feel so relaxed. Your tissues get all the tension out of them, because as I also mentioned in the message, we retain a lot of emotions, tension, stress in our tissues, and it actually in the end gets into the connective tissue, and the only way to get it out is really to do yin, or to go to someone to give you a massage. So this is what we're going to be doing today. And also, as I mentioned, I've been doing this training, and so I'm hoping to offer you different alternatives, different perspectives on alternative postures as well, alternatives to the different postures. All the postures we're going to be doing, we know them, but I just have a few alternatives for some of you to check with. Okay, so we're going to start today, as we always do, in a seated position. And today, because we're doing the long held poses, what I'm going to suggest is that I'm going to invite you to experiment with this breathing. It's very similar to the diaphragmatic breathing that we've been doing, but instead of the diaphragmatic breathing, we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. In this one, it's breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So we're going to do 3 rounds of that. I'm going to walk you through that. Invite you to do 2 rounds on your own, and then throughout the different poses, I'm going to start with the 3 rounds, and then invite you to do 2 rounds extra. And then if you like it, continue. If you don't like it, just leave it. The reason why is because it really helps to anchor your mind when you are focusing on this type of breathing. So try it. You might find you don't like it, and then just go back to the natural breathing. But I'd encourage you at least to try at the beginning of each posture to try and do at least 3 of this breathing technique. So let's just start just focusing on the natural breathing, and then I'll get on to how we're doing this new breathing. Okay, so just closing your eyes, and let's just focus on the natural breathing, basically. So just being aware of where your breathing is. And now if you open your eyes, just bring your hands to your abdomen around the navel area. And from here, we're going to inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. But instead of exhaling with the mouth, we're going to exhale with the nose. It shouldn't make a lot of difference, but maybe if you always used your mouth for exhaling, maybe it'll feel a bit strange. And we're going to do this for 3 rounds together. So first of all, exhaling completely, bringing your navel towards your spinal column, and then inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just continue 2 rounds at your own time. Perhaps 5 is too much for you. Just do 4. And if you like it, continue. And if not, just bring your hands to your knees and continue breathing in any way you prefer. And now bring your hands to your knees. Just noticing the effect of this breathing technique. Did it feel comfortable? Did it feel strange? Did you find it difficult? Uncomfortable? Okay, so slowly opening your eyes. So this is a type of breathing that we haven't done a lot of. It's called the Ujjayi breathing, which is what we use a lot in Ashtanga. But sometimes it's used in yin yoga, and it's another type of breathing. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But it's especially effective because it's really effective to breathe through your nose, inhaling and exhaling. And so this is a way to introduce you into it. So try it throughout the practice. Of course, if you don't enjoy it, just try 3 rounds and then go back to your natural breathing. You'll also find in some poses, so for example, when we are lying extended, then of course it's easier because the diaphragm is open. But if we're bending over, perhaps you may find it more complicated. But on the whole, it's great because it really focuses it can really focus your mind. So give it a go. Okay. So the first pose is actually one of the favorites, and it's the one where we lie on our back. It's the reclining fish. So if you remember the reclining fish, we can have it either with a bolster or with the blocks. So just to show you, just to remind you, so with the bolster, we have the bolster behind you, lying down with the arms on the sides. So alternative 1. And then alternative 2 with the blocks. So remember, with the blocks, T-shape, lengthwise, I put my shoulders, and the short way, I'm putting my head. So let's come down into that position and get comfortable. And rolling up a blanket if you don't have one, and then coming down onto the blocks. And straight away, as you can imagine, the diaphragm there's lots of space for the diaphragm. And so once you're comfortable, we can start with the 3 rounds of the breathing technique. So exhale completely, and then inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now do 2 rounds at your own pace. And if you like it, continue. Otherwise, just return to your preferred breathing technique, or just breathing naturally. So remember, when we are in this type of pose where especially the chest area is really open, we can really feel the effects of this deep breathing. This deep breathing, which is in the abdomen area. So of course it's all about balance, because during the day we will be breathing more using the chest when we are doing quick activities which need a lot of energy, a lot of movement. But we can't always stay in that state. That's called the sympathetic nervous system. We also need time to be with the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that we focus on triggering during yin yoga meditation. It's also called the rest and digest, or rest and relax. It's the healing part of our nervous system. So we have 30 seconds to go. So now very slowly shift yourself onto one side. Take the blocks out, or the bolster, or the blankets, and just come lying on your back. And see if you can notice the difference of the 7 minutes. Sometimes it's psychological, because I told you it would be 7 minutes, but it's possible that you could feel the rebound pose more, because we've spent a little bit more time stressing the joints, stressing the connective tissue. So just notice how it feels. So from here, just slowly bring yourself up into a seated position. And from here we're going to move to the straddle. So we're going to do 2 forward bends. So remember the straddle. Remember option 1, sitting up, supporting the thighs. Yeah, remember the pelvis is the most important change you can make when we are doing poses in yin. And then flexing the spine and allowing the head to fall forward. So that's option 1. And remember the other one, if you're not sitting on a bolster, if it's comfortable for you not to sit on a bolster, and your legs are straight, you could bring a bolster in front of you and simply rounding your back, allowing your head to hang. You can place your head on your hands. Okay, so remember, whichever option you choose, go into it slowly because we're going to be here for 7 minutes. You can even, if you have a bolster, you can even have it like this. You can bring your head down. And then for those of you who'd like to experiment another option, I have a third option here. You can also bend your legs. So if you're sitting on a bolster as well, you can bend your legs and your hands in between and allow your head to hang. So you could experiment with this one as well. So the interesting thing with this one is that we are actually focusing much more attention on the rounding of the back. So remember, rounding the back is allowing us to stretch all those ligaments along the spinal column, those small ligaments along the spinal column. And perhaps you could feel a stretch in the groin muscles or the hamstrings, the back of the thighs. But remember, in yin, we don't have to get all the target areas. One of them is great. One of them is enough. And for those of you with your legs straight, then perhaps you can also get the rounding of the spine. But you can also maybe feel the muscles in the groin area or the adductor muscles, or the hamstrings, the back of your thighs. So let's do those 3 rounds with the breathing. So exhaling completely, and then inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just continue and do 2 rounds at your own pace. And if you like it, continue. And if you find it uncomfortable, just return to your preferred breathing technique. Now slowly, very slowly, bring your torso upwards, and then let's just come lying on your back. So we can just notice that feeling in your back, in the backs of your thighs, the hamstrings, and perhaps the groin area, the muscles of the groin area. Now let's come sitting up again, and we're going to do a pose which for some of you might seem very similar, but this is the caterpillar. And with the caterpillar, once again, we can sit on a bolster. The legs can be together or the legs can be apart. For many people, the legs apart is easier because it allows you to move forward a little bit further. And from here, you can also have your blocks underneath, and you can also have blocks in front of you, so you can lean onto the blocks like this. So that's the first option. And then the second option, if you're not sitting on the bolster, you could also have this option where you're leaning down. The most important thing here is to find the option where you feel a stretch at the back of your thighs. So it doesn't matter if you're on a bolster, if you're off the bolster, I'd like you to experiment. Also, you can start off experimenting if your legs are together and you lean forward. Do you feel a stretch there? Or do you feel more of a stretch if you open your legs? And once you've found that option, then let's move into that position. Okay? I'm going to start sitting on a bolster and moving forward. So what I encourage you to do really is to find where you feel a stretch in your hamstrings, so the backs of your thighs. And as with the previous posture, we're also rounding the spine. So once more, the target area is the rounded back. So now let's do the breathing technique. Exhaling completely. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling through the nose, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling through the nose, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue at your own pace with your own timing. Remember to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Perhaps you're finding this is a way to really focus your mind because your mind is concentrating. If you find it challenging because your diaphragm is a little compressed, return to your natural breathing. Just noticing the effect that this breathing has. Just relaxing the whole nervous system and thereby allowing the muscles to relax. So we can get deep into that connective tissue which holds so much tension, stress, anxiety. So we're giving it a nice, gentle massage just by this mechanical pressure we are applying just through the gravity and the pressure of our bodies on our joints. So slowly bring yourself upwards. Place the blocks on the side, the bolster on the side, and we're actually going to do a little dynamic counter posture because we've been doing 2 forward folds, so we're going to do something to really extend us. So if you bring your 2 feet in front of you and your arms behind you, your hands can be facing towards you or away from you. Just choose whichever is comfortable for you. And then let me just show you what we're going to do. I'm just going to push myself up, head back, inhale and exhale, come down. And we're going to do that 3 times, and on the 3rd one, when we come up after the 3rd one, we're going to stay there for 3 breaths. Okay, so ready, and inhale up, exhale down, and inhale up, head back, exhale down. And last one, we're going to hold this one, inhale up, hold for 1, 2, 3, and down. Okay, well done. Excellent. Right, so now we're going to move to a pose where I'm going to show you, first of all, the reclining version, which is the version that we did last week, because last week we were looking at reclining options. So I'm going to show you, first of all, the reclining option, and then I will show you the version that we're going to do, not standing up, but not reclining. So this is the sleeping swan, but this is the sleeping swan reclining. So I come lying on my back and cross the right ankle over the left knee and just check in with the, let me just show you from this side. So from here, I'm going to, I'm going to lift my leg up, or I can just keep my leg here because I need to feel a stretch on the outside right hip. So if you are here and you feel a stretch, you can stay here. If you don't feel anything, you could perhaps raise your leg like this with various blocks. And if you want more stretch, you can bring that leg towards you if that's accessible. Okay, so that's option one. And then the option two is actually to do it in this position. Right, so you can either, I don't know if you remember this position, you can have your leg bent, you can have your leg straight, and you're going to come over it like this. Yeah, so this is the other option. So if you prefer, if you like this option more, if you want something a bit more active, you can also try this one. So here we're going to be feeling also this stretch on the outside of the hip. Yeah, so whichever version you want to choose, you want to experiment with, go for whichever version appeals to you today. Okay, right, so I'm going to start with the reclining version for whoever wants to. So reclining version, crossing the leg over, crossing the ankle onto the knee. Remember, you can adapt the position of your knee. This is the good thing about the reclining pose is that if I feel stress in the knee, I can bring the knee down, I can bring the knee up. The important thing is to feel that stretch on the outer right hip, so the glute area. If you don't feel anything, then basically you can adjust your knee, bringing your knee closer to your chest, holding under your knee or on top of your shin. And then you can just bring that leg closer to you. So remember, this is your practice. So just experiment and find what works for you. And remember, if you are in the other pose, the leg can be bent. The leg can be straight. The important thing is find where you feel a stretch on your outside right hip. And it can be different on the different sides. So I find my stretch if I lean over my foot. Then I find a really nice stretch on the outside right hip. If I am in front of me, I don't feel so much. So just be aware that you can experiment. You can move yourself. So Sarah, you can move yourself around your torso until you find where the best stretch is. And sometimes it changes. It's not always a fixed point. It depends what you do also during the day. So sort of experiment around. And as the time goes by and you find, okay, there's no stretch there, then you can also shift around. So the important thing is, once you've found that stretch, just to relax into it. So let's just go into that breathing technique. If you're lying down, it should be really more accessible. So exhale completely. And then inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now do 2 rounds at your own pace. And if you continue to do this breathing, just notice the effect it has, particularly on your mind. Does it help you to focus more? Does it help you to concentrate more? Basically, does it help you to remain in the present and not become distracted? So from here, if you are lying down on your back, just simply straighten your legs. And for Sarah, if you'd like to just straighten your leg and come lying on your stomach. So those of you who are lying on your back, just lie on your back. Lie on your back, Simon, lying on your back. Sarah and I are going to lie on our stomach. So wherever you are, just noticing the feeling, particularly in the target area that we were stretching. Sometimes if you feel that was quite a stress, quite a lot of tension, then when we come into the rebound,
There's like a big sigh of relief as we feel that tension being released.
So now let's turn to the other side. Let's move to the other side. And once again, if we are doing the reclining pose, crossing now the left ankle and putting it on the right knee. We can either stay there if we want a bit more of a stretch. Remember, we can place blocks under our feet. And if we don't feel much, remember you can bring your knee towards your chest, holding under your knee or under your shin. As long as you feel that stretch on the outside of your left hip now. And then remember the other option would be straightening your leg, your bent, the leg behind you, or straightening it and experimenting. If you've been doing the reclining pose and you want to do the sitting up pose, you're welcome to experiment. We don't always have to do exactly the same thing on exactly the same, we don't have to do the same alternative of the pose. We can experiment. So if you'd like to rock up and try the other side, you're welcome. But if you are comfy wherever you are, then enjoy. Remember to move. If you're in the sleeping swan, just move yourself around the torso before until you find that nice stretch. And now, just focusing on that breathing technique. So exhale completely, bringing the navel in towards the spinal column, and then inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just continue 2 at your own pace. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And as you're breathing, as you're inhaling, just noticing your stomach, abdomen filling up like a balloon. And as you're exhaling, really bringing it in towards the spinal column. So of course, if you are in the reclining pose, the advantage is that It's a great release as well for your back. So you're giving your back a really nice release. So if any of you have lower back issues, this is a great option to do reclining poses. Of course, also if you have issues with your knees, it helps because you can then adapt the pressure you apply to your joints, in particularly the knees. And then of course you don't have the gravity pressing on your body, on the body weight, which then presses on the joint. So it's more accessible for you to adapt how deep you go into the pose. So as I was mentioning before, in yin we are focusing as well when we talk about the connective tissue. We're focusing on what we call stressing the joints. And of course, when we do exercise, we need to stress tissues in our body to stay healthy. And of course, when we do dynamic exercise, running, walking, swimming, dancing, we are engaging our muscles to protect our joints. So when are we going to stress our joints? When are we going to stress that other tissue in our body that we don't stress? And the answer is with yin, or if you go to a physiotherapist, that's essentially what they do, working with joints, with connective tissue. So if you can't go to physio often, then you can just do yin. So slowly coming up or coming out. So Sarah and I lying down, and the rest of you just lying on your back, stretching the legs out, and just noticing how does that feel. Particularly the warm sensation, hopefully, in that hip, in the leg that you had bent. And now let's come to the last couple of poses for today, and that is the twist. And today I have two options Of course, if you don't like the options I'm proposing, you're welcome to do the ones you prefer. But the option 1 would be for those of you who would like to try the twist from the torso area. So instead of reclining, just simply doing the twist from the torso area. So what I would suggest you do, if you want to follow me at the moment and then you can choose later. So the option 1 would be basically to, if we are moving towards the right, bring your left hand on your right knee, inhaling and then just turning and looking over your right shoulder. So that's option 1. And we're going to stay here for 5 minutes because the twists, you know, we need less time with the twist basically. So this is the option 1, okay, alternative 1. And alternative 2 is, I think it's actually great. It's a neutral twist of the spine, which means that the spine is not twisting very much. So let me show you that one. Basically coming from here, arms out however you want them. They can be cactus arms, they can be straight arms, they can be above you, whichever feels comfortable. And then simply bringing your legs like this. Yeah, so that's the other option. Okay? So try both of them if you want. You can start with the seated one, see how it feels. If you don't like it, move over. You can even start with this one on the one side and then you can move to the other on the other side. Okay, so let's just start, whichever you want to start with. And remember to be seated on a bolster if you need to be seated on a bolster. Okay, yeah, so you will notice if you're seated that the breathing will be more of a challenge. But challenges are important. So let's just try. So exhaling completely. Lengthen your spine, that often helps. And then inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you can and you want to, just try 2 more at your own pace. Remember, when we're twisting the spine, we're releasing tension all along the spinal column. And it's essentially helping to keep the spinal column healthy. And in addition, of course, we are compressing internal organs. We're opening up the shoulder. And so we reaching and achieving many different benefits when we do a twist. Of course, also if you're turning your neck, you're getting a nice neck stretch. And as we all know, we don't turn our necks very often. We tend to have them looking in one way only. Remember, when we don't use something, the connective tissue becomes shortened, and that's why we feel that it's stiff. So if you're seated, just come slowly back to the center. And for the people lying down, just bring your legs and straighten your legs out. So if you're seated, just noticing that feeling on the side that you've been stretching. Should have a feeling of lots of warmth in different areas of your body. And now if you'd like to continue seated, please go ahead. I'm going to move to the lying down. So if you're seated, remember you're bringing the right arm, the right hand now on the left knee and turning and looking to your left side. But also if you're keen to try this option of lying, you're also welcome. So coming onto your left side, just basically the legs coming out to the side. And we'll be here for 5 minutes. Just to start the breathing technique again. Exhale completely and inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just continue at your own pace. 2 more. And now if you're seated, slowly bring your body back and to face forward. And if you're lying down, just bring your legs back to the center and relax. So seated, relax. And if you've been lying, just relax. Just noticing the effect of that posture on your body. And now if you're ready, let's get into the relaxation pose. So switching off your light if you want to, grabbing a blanket if you'd like. And we're going to start the relaxation just with the last 3 rounds of this breathing technique, and then just relaxing and noticing the effect of these long held postures on different aspects of our body. So just coming to a lying down position. Remember, if you need a pillow under your head, grab a pillow. If you want to bend your knees as well to relax the lower back, find what works for you. And then let's just do the last 3 breaths of this breathing technique. Exhale completely, and then inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now return to your natural breathing. And I just invite you to move gently through your body, starting with your feet, moving up to your knees, exploring where you feel tension and where you notice that you feel some little spots or knots of tension. I invite you just to breathe into that area. So do this as your own excursion of your body, your own discovery of your body, where you find more tension. Bring your awareness to those areas. Consciously relax them and notice how that awareness brings a change in the feeling of that area. as you do that, just notice how your body, all the different areas of your body are relaxing. Opening up. As you're bathing all the cells of your body with this oxygen. Like when we bathe our body with water, nourishing and healing and strengthening the connective tissue. So let's start to move the fingers and toes, waking up the body after that lovely deep stretching. Start to move, make movements with your wrists and ankles, whatever feels good for you. Close your legs. Bring your arms above your head. Give yourself a nice stretch. And then slowly lower your hands down. Bend your knees. Let them fall to one side and then come up to a seated position. And thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I'll be interested to hear your feedback on how that felt, the long breaths, the long held positions, the breathing, etc. And yeah, I just need to switch off the